dead. You gotta be a death in order for there to be some kind of a birth. These men just seem to fit the bill. Was Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy Osbourne, and Hulk Hogan sacrificed? What's up, my beautiful soul family? How's everybody feeling today? Malcolm Jamal Warner, Hulk Hogan, and Ozzy Osbourne all died within 2 days of each other. Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away from drowning July 20th, 2025. Next, you had Ozzy Osbourne, who passed away allegedly from complications of surgery July 22nd, 2025. Lastly, Hulk Hogan passed away from what people believe is a heart attack July 24th, 2025. A lot of people are beginning to talk and they're wondering if this was some kind of sacrifice or some kind of a ritual that was done in Hollywood to claim the lives of these three gentlemen. You know what I mean? They're wondering if it was some kind of death in threes thing going on. So, what I thought would do today in this reading is let's see if there was some kind of a sacrifice going on that caused these three gentlemen to perish. Now, y'all know, of course, before I start this reading, I need to put out my disclaimer. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Everything I state in this video is just my interpretation of the cards. Nothing I state in this video has been proven to be fact as of now. So now that we got that disclaimer out the way, let's shuffle these cards and let's see if Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy Osbourne, and Hulk Hogan were sacrificed. All right. So let's pull the cards and let's see if we get the answers that we seek. You got the 10 of swords. That's upright, which is some kind of a ruin or ending. You got the 4 of pentacles reversed, which is some kind of open or sharing involved, some kind of generosity. Then you got the Knight of Swords, which is about a bunch of aggression. You know what I mean? The Sun reversed, some kind of a blockage of energy. The Page of Wands. Then you got the Harem, which is the spiritual guru, the spiritual leader. So I'm feeling like there's some kind of spiritual leader that's like enthusiastic about this. He feels like there's going to be generosity that comes from aggression. But, you know, of course, I want to pull the rest of my cards before I really, you know what I mean, speak on it. Okay. I'm feeling like, okay, the mother goddess. There's some kind of mother goddess going on. Because you see how you got the Empress? I get the feeling of like the mother goddess got to do with this. Look at this. The devil come up. Okay. We gonna see. All right. So I'm pulling the last row of cards now before we really read on this energy to see what was going on. Somebody's life cycle ending. I feel like somebody's life cycle ended prematurely. All right. All right. All right. So if we read over the cards, I asked, was Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy Osbourne, and Hulk Hogan sacrificed, right? So you got the 10 of Swords, which is the card of endings, of ruins, of bad endings. They meant, all three of them meant an ending because they all passed away. This could also be a death card, you know what I mean? And all three of them are dead. You know what I mean? Then you got the 4 of Pentacles in reverse, which I feel like got something to do with some kind of a, you know, like being generous with the spending or get, you know, somebody obtaining their money free flowing. I'm feeling like there was a lot of gain. There was a lot of successful gain from these three passing. You know what I mean? Now I'm seeing the Knight of Swords, which is a card about violence, a card about aggression, a card about the M word, you know, unaliving. The Sun card in reverse, there was a blockage of energy. I feel like somebody was stealing energy. Like if you look at next to that, you got the harem. You got the Page of Wands and the harem. This tells me about somebody that was like some kind of spiritual leader that was enthusiastic and apathetic about prospering from these deaths. You know what I mean? You got the you got the King of Pentacles next to it. So this tells me that I'm feeling like these gentlemen were sacrificed. I do feel like they were sacrificed, and they, or at least stopped. Like I feel like they were taken. And I feel like they were sacrificed to the mother goddess. You got the High Priestess in reverse right next to the Empress. You know what I mean? There was some kind of mother goddess. I think that there are some voodoo religions, you know what I mean, where you can make sacrifices to the mother goddess or something like that. I'm wondering if these cards are pointing towards a blood sacrifice for material gain, because I'm seeing a lot of material gain in this reading. You know what I mean? Page of Cups. Next, it's about giving. It's about giving birth. You gotta be a death in order for there to be some kind of a birth to something. Somebody was in cooperation with them, so that it's like the okay. How could I explain this? What spirit is telling me, like, all right, it's like the mother goddess needs to give birth. You know what I mean? In order for her to give birth, blood has to be shed. There has to be a sacrifice. I don't know who this mother goddess is, but I know that there is a voodoo religion where you have the mother goddess. You know what I mean? That you got to offer up human sacrifices to her. I feel like a lot of celebrities in the industry um, worship this goddess. So this was the occasion. So let me see here. You got the Queen of Wands. Yeah, you got the Ace of Wands. They had to do it like within this time period. You know what I mean? This hence how they gave up these sacrifices all in the course of 1 week. You see how you got the Ace of Wands? If you're doing timing and you're talking about wands, wands is in a matter of weeks. You know what I mean? Wands is weeks. So let me see. Let me look over this some more. So they worked hard to find sacrifices for the mother goddess. They stalked and chose the three men that was going to fall, and they were going to take their fortunes from them, allegedly. What I'm seeing in the cards and what Spirit is telling me, you know what I mean? There'd be because there was a lot of money involved for them, and so they waited. So one of them they knew was traveling. You know, Malcolm Jamal Warner. This was how they felt like this was a stupid decision on him because this left him open to be sacrificed. That way they could just blame it on some kind of an accident that happened with him. They set it up to look accidental. So he had to be one of the ones that followed. They knew like I said, they knew he was on a journey. I feel like it was somebody behind the scenes, maybe his wife or something that was working along with them to help like set him up somewhere else so it'll look like an accident. Like the thing about these sacrifices, they all have to look like accidents. It can't look like you were really unalived or else people would get suspicious with it. So let me see here. Yeah, their life cycle was taken. You got the 5 of Cups. Now cups is days. Three of them was taken in a span of 5 days, and this satisfied the mother goddess. This is what they were trying to do: satisfy the mother goddess, so she would take good care of them. You know what I mean? It had to be three rich men that were once famous or infamous, but no longer famous. This was to keep the balance going, to keep the energy flowing because the energy had got blocked. This is why when the mother goddess gives birth, it's not about giving birth to a live kid. It's about giving birth to energy, giving birth to them having abundance. I think this is their belief. You know what I mean? Allegedly, what I'm seeing in the cards and what my gut is saying so far. So there had to have been three guys that were famous but not any more useful for them. This is what I'm seeing allegedly. You know what I mean? This it was already they were whoever sacrificed them was being greedy. Now see, I feel like it was at least a man involved in the sacrificing of them. In their sacrifice, it was at least a man involved. This is what I'm seeing in the cards allegedly. So let me see. They were ruthless. They didn't care about sacrificing them. This were people that had really, I'm not gonna say fell out with the industry, but the industry no longer needed. Like I said, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I don't want to repeat myself. You know what I mean? They no longer had a whole bunch of ties in the industry. So this is why these men were chosen, allegedly. You know what I mean? They were at the end of their celebrity journey anyway, allegedly. Let me see here. They give sacrifices to the mother goddess and the other gods so that they can avoid being poor. You know what I mean? So one was sacrificed on while traveling. One was sacrificed while traveling. Then you had the second one sacrificed by surgery. You see this, the Ace of Swords, the surgery card. This was because, I mean, it was different criteria. Like I said, Malcolm was going on vacation. He would have been an easy target. He fit the criteria. Like all three of these men fit the criteria. There were criteria for the mother goddess. You know what I mean? So it was three funerals that she needed in order to give abundance. This is why you have that death in threes thing. This happens so ever so often. I don't think it's a pattern in it. I don't know if it's a pattern in it, but these three gentlemen were spiritually, unalive. I think Malcolm Jamal Warner may have allegedly been physically unalived. Um, Let me see here. The Hermit card. This was a whole secret society behind this. It was more than just one person that was behind. I feel like there was several people that was behind the sacrificing of these gentlemen, of these three men. You know what I mean? But magic was used. It was like spells that were casted. You know what I'm saying, for them. Um, Let me look also. There were spells casted. There was I think that they had picked these men a month ago. It was a whole full moon cycle that they had picked these men the last moon cycle. These men were pre-picked, pre-planned because they also need to make room for the new men, that's the new people that's coming in the industry. But like I said, I feel like it was a covenant of people that chose these people. I think it was different people that chose these men. It wasn't just one person that chose these men. You got the emperor in reversed. You know what I mean? Which is about some kind of, I'm trying to figure out what the Emperor in reverse is trying to say to me. If you look at the Ace of Swords, the second one had to go pass away because of surgery, which, like I said, is set up that it has to be some kind of accident. You know what I mean? Like I said, you got the Five of Swords reversed, which talks about some kind of no-win situation and somebody that was totally dominated. Though, I'm getting a feeling that, let me see, in the Emperor. I'm getting the feeling that, like I said, something was deliberately done to Ozzy during his surgery. That's what I'm getting the feeling of, to see that. Let me see here. So that yep. Look. You got the Four of Swords right here, which talks about the plan. The plan was to put these men in their tombs so that things could become stronger for them. The people that was sacrificing them, the people that was committing this, capital M word, this unaliving. I'm seeing that there's at least three people involved in this. I feel like each the three that was involved chose the three men to go, allegedly. It might have been a air sign. I'm sorry, it might have been an earth sign woman, a water sign male, and at least a Aries male, who's a fire sign male. This is what I'm seeing. Allegedly for entertainment purposes, of course. All right. All right. So I'm gonna pull the oracle cards. I want the oracle cards to basically tell me who sacrificed Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy Osbourne, and Hulk Hogan. So we're gonna pull. I'm gonna shuffle these cards, and we're gonna say, all right. So I asked these cards. I asked the oracle cards to tell me about the people that sacrificed these gentlemen. That sacrificed Malcolm, Ozzy, and Hulk Hogan. Looking over the cards right now, so it says sacred. They didn't mean anything to them. Patience. They had planted this and they was waiting for the time to strike. You know what I mean? So that these, to make sure that these men don't get onto what they were doing. Intentions. Create. They wanted to destroy them because intention is reversed. When it's reversed, it's the opposite of it. You know what I mean? All right. So these were men that no longer meant anything to them or the industry. You know what I mean? I feel like the patience of the industry have run them with these men. They needed somebody to sacrifice anyway. These men just seem to fit the bill. Um, Intention. I don't feel like they cared to like pick on them too much. It's just that they wasn't. as needed as everybody else was. Um, I mean, it was just a logical choice. This is what I'm feeling like. You know what I mean? So, and it's like the industry feels like, I feel like the industry feels like they own you in the first place. It's not like you have your own freedom, so they have a right. They feel like they have a right to decide when to take your life force. Because when you sell out your soul. You know how this go. They practice that black magic stuff. Sometimes you have to get got. This is the deal you made with them when you sold your soul. I'm not going to say that Malcolm Jamal Warner sold his soul, but it's like this how the industry look at it. You know what I mean? Their life force could do better for like the industry as a whole. You know what I mean? They don't realize the seriousness of this and that they have no protection in the industry when they go into the industry. You know what I mean? The industry is a pretty wicked game, and this is the chance and the risk that you take in the industry. This is what I'm seeing allegedly in the cards for entertainment purposes, of course. You know what I mean? The industry have to adapt and they have to stay strong. So that means that sometimes some people have to be sacrificed, some people have to be given up. You know what I mean? Only thing they care to defend is the industry. You know what I mean? I feel like it was these three men. I feel like it was the people closest to him that chose to sacrifice them. You know what I mean? I feel like each one of the individuals that passed, it was somebody in their own circle that chose to sacrifice them, who was also in the industry. They chose to sacrifice them. They chose to get them. You know what I mean? Now that doesn't mean that they didn't have other people that was in cahoots with them, because I feel like there was a bunch of collaboration. There are more players involved, but there are main people. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, they don't care because they need to keep power. You know what I mean? And they need to stay secret, so they have to be cunning and stuff like that in order to keep. They have to be cunning about what they do in order to keep things the way that it is. So people have to die for the rest of the industry to have joy and leave it off on the death card, which is what these three men had. They caught their death. This gave more of a motive of why. Tell me what you guys think. Do y'all think that that they were sacrificed? That this was some kind of a ritual that was done by people in the industry, and the reason why was because they needed to keep the industry strengthened? Thank you, my beautiful soul family, for tuning in. I'll see y'all in the next reading. You have a good one, my babies. Love you.